Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be making a tier list of the Regulation F Pokemon. And guys, I'm going to be honest, I've got the garbage up here. If you guys like those Pokemon, I'll show that tier at the end. You guys can take a look. Once again, nothing is ever completely unviable. If you find a niche on something, go for it. But I'm not going to waste time in the video talking about stuff that I think definitely gets either severely outclassed or, like I said, it's called the burned kitchen for a reason, guys. So yeah, not to stop you from using them, but let's get right into things. So, gonna kick this thing off with Hisuian Arcanine, and I think it's good. I'm gonna put it at solid option for now. It probably falls to the bottom of this tier. But I definitely do think just the ability to get the Intimidate down, being more aggressive with like banded rock slides and stuff like that is actually very, very good in this format. So we're going to keep it up there for now. It probably, like I said, will fall near the bottom, but we'll get to more tier organizing near the end. Electabuzz and Magmar, I left them on just because they're definitely outclassed right now, but they are technically still very good follow me Pokemon. They're just outclassed by all the Ogerpons. It's not that they're bad, they're just Ogerpon unfortunately just pretty much covers everything they want to do and does it better. So, you know, same with kind of the Gyarados, right? There's just better ways to get Intimidates, better water types to use. Like if I'm going to use my water type slot, it's almost certainly going to be on like Urshifu or the water Ogerpon, right? Like there's just better Pokemon that I'm more inclined to use my water type slot on than a Gyarados or a Kingdra right now. Zapdos, I'm going to leave it at unproven. It's probably just bad. I think it's the outclassed electric type right now, unfortunately. Raging Bolt is so incredibly strong that Zapdos doesn't really damage it. Kind of feels worse than Raging Bolt more often than not. Same with Iron Hands as well. Just the electric types are surprisingly good right now. And unfortunately, Zapdos just isn't that guy anymore. Dragonite is very good. It's 100% a solid option. You pair this with a Choice Band, and besides Shenpao, you're doing crazy amounts of damage. But we've also seen a little bit more versatility coming out of Reg H with the Dragonites as well, with like the Scale Shot loaded dice stuff, which I think is very interesting. I know it had decent success in the tour over the weekend. I don't know if that's just like, you know, leftovers from Regulation H, or if like it actually is going to be something decent moving forward in Regulation F. But either way, regardless of that set, Dragonite is a solid option. Dusclops is going to go unproven. I don't think it's great. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go on the right team because it is a very strong way to get Trick Room up, similar to Porygon 2. And in fact, I'm going to put Porygon 2 one tier higher than that. But the points are still the same for both of them. They're both very good at getting Trick Room up on the specific teams that want to get Trick Room up. So I think they're both very good right now. I wouldn't call them like meta staples or like you gotta have these guys if you're using Trick Room. There may be better Trick Room options, but overall, they're both a really decent Pokemon. Dusclops definitely need the right team, but Porygon 2 is a little bit more slappable. Typhlosion, 100% outclassed. It's probably still okay. Like you can't really go wrong by getting Sun Up and then clicking like Scarf Eruption or Specs Eruption. Like that's never really gonna necessarily be bad. But I definitely think there's other fire types to do that this format. Like even Scarf Eruption Entei might even be funnier than that. You know, Chi-Yu 100% is better than that, right? Now I'm not suggesting Scarf Eruption Entei. That was just like a mere example that might be better than Typhlosion. Maybe I just hate Typhlosion. But regardless, Jumpluff 100%. I'm gonna go on the right team. I think Sun is very, very strong in this format, and having stuff to be able to abuse that. You're going to see me put Venusaur in this tier later as well. But these Sun abusers, you know what? I'm right here. Lilligant, same thing. And I think Venusaur was on this list too somewhere. Let me grab it. Okay, I can't find Venusaur. We'll find it later. Oh, there it is. All right, perfect. Anyways, like I said, these guys, it's going to be one of those ones where because Sun teams are going to be strong, you're going to want something, you know, to take advantage of that. And I think all three of these have a niche in doing that. You know, you get the Venusaur, which is able to resist the big Flutter Mains into format. You've got Lilligant, which is able to, you know, fast fighting coverage is never necessarily bad. It's fast spores. You can do some things with like After You. And then, of course, Jumpluff, the redirection and, you know, the Tailwind as well is always pretty decent, right? So you're probably going to see these guys on a few teams, but I'm not going to go ahead and say like, yeah, they're going to fix the format. Murkrow is probably outclassed as a Tailwind setter right now, just because like with Whimsicott and Tornadus, I have no reason why I would ever use Murkrow. Maybe Haze is kind of cool, but that's really about it. Other than that, it's pretty much outclassed all around. Stats just aren't there. You need specific items for it. It's not good. Scizor. I'm going to go unproven for Scizor. Just feels like it's one of those ones because Flutter Mane is so common and Bullet Punch is broken on Scizor. I feel like there's maybe a niche for it. I think it's definitely going to need to be tested, and it's probably not good. But I have to put it there, and, you know, it's decent. Smeargle is going to be at the top of the on the right team category. I've never liked Smeargle. I personally do not think Smeargle is good. However, on the correct team, Smeargle is phenomenal at getting that team's pieces set up properly. Recently, you know, you're going to see in Reg F, you're probably looking at those hardcore Trick Room teams where you're going to go like Smeargle, Farigiraf, and then like the Choice Banded Dark Urshifu stuff. That to me is like the right team for Smeargle, and it's going to see a lot of success. It's not a bad Pokemon, but it's not necessarily like, yeah, a good enough Pokemon to kind of be able to slap on any team. It definitely is going to need the correct team. Entei is good. I don't know if it's like, I feel like I need a tier in between these two. I don't know what I would call it, but Entei's probably in between these two somewhere. It's very good. Unfortunately, it does rely a little bit on hitting moves and a little bit of RNG based elements. Like if Sacred Fire is connecting and Sacred Fire is burning, you're winning games. If Sacred Fire isn't connecting, it kind of sucks. If Sacred Fire is connecting and not burning, it's kind of like the neutral ground in between. But hey, you're a little bit unlucky if that's the case. Overall, I think Entei is actually surprisingly good in this format, so it's definitely something to keep an eye on. T-Tar, I just don't see Sand being good. I'm gonna leave it an unproven just because like it is a surprisingly strong answer to like Flutter Mane QU stuff. So if Flutter Mane QU starts picking back up in usage, which we haven't seen too much of in Regulation I yet. Oh, sorry, Regulation F, it's F. Oops. Anyways, we haven't seen too much of it, surprisingly, this second time around. It'll be around. I don't know if it'll be around enough to justify, yeah, I'm going to bring Tyranitar back out, especially with all the Urshifus. All the Ogerpons are having a grass type, or being a grass type. This thing's going to need to Terra pretty much 9 times out of 10, and that's a little restrictive in team building. Pelipper is going to be good, and as much as I hate to say it, Pelipper is going to be good. I hate this mon, but you know what? Being able to get rain up for Urshifu, Pelipper is going to be good. It's going to be probably one of the least effective ways to get rain up for Urshifu, because, like, you know, Tornadus with Rain Dance just exists, and it's, like, infinitely better. But I do think Pelipper technically is still good. It's rain on switching. It definitely gives you that weather control, which is never a bad thing to have. So, I guess Hurricane hits all the Ogerpons, so maybe Pelipper is still pretty decent. It's up there. Hirayama, I don't know why I have this here. I'm just going to go outclassed. Like, just use Urshifu at that point. I do not know why I didn't put that into the garbage tier. Torkoal's correct. Once again, Sun is just going to be very good. Torkoal is probably the best Sunsetter. So it's less good. It's still good. It's not one of those ones like you can just slap around onto any team. But it's definitely good. Both the Latiases, or Latios, are probably unproven. They have some interesting things working for them. The problem is the Psychic type kind of just hurts them. You know, with QU and Flutter Mane and the Chenpaos, right? All those guys are going to have dark moves, right? It's just one of those, or Flutter Mane with the ghost move, I should say. Like, the Psychic typing is actively hurting them, and then there's just better Dragon types with better second typings to use outside of the Lotties. Now, they do get a niche where it's like, oh, we can beat Landorus. You know, we get Ice Beam, so like we were faster, we Ice Beam the Landorus, we get Tailwind support, so there might be something there, which is why I'm not completely throwing them in the outclass tier, but there might be something there. Gastron is very funny on the right team as a way to shut down Water Ursh. Outside of that, it really doesn't do much. That's my problem with Gastron. It's cool, it can become annoying for an opponent, but outside of that, it doesn't actually do anything back, so I think it would really need the right team to, you know, take it to that next level. But other than that, it's probably not bad. It's pink, so I should probably drop it a tier. But if it was the blue one, it goes up a tier. That's simple as that. Anyway, Heatran, I'm going to go right beside his pal Entei here. It's still a really solid Pokemon. Once again, a little bit more of a Terra hog, but still solid. Can't go wrong with Heatran in this format. Like, it's just a good Pokemon. Heatwave arguably is one of the best moves in the game, always has been. Special Fire type coverage is pretty good, but there's better fire types in my opinion. You know, not using QU, not using Incineroar, and using a Heatran instead feels tough to justify, but it's still a very serviceable Pokemon. It's still pretty good. Cresselia, honestly, same spot. It's actually pretty good. It's one of those ones where it did get hit with the nerf coming into this generation, but overall it's still pretty good, and I'm surprised it's not used more, because in the right setting, it is very difficult to take down. And knowing what you're going up against, and if you can cater your team towards that, it's very, very good. It's a good piece. Can get Trick Room up. Doesn't need to get Trick Room up either. And I think that's what people kind of forget about with Cresselia, is you don't need to build it on a Trick Room team. So people dismiss it very often, right? You can have it. You can have a Trick Room mode, but it doesn't need to be as dedicated Trick Room as something like, a Dusclops. If you have a Dusclops, your game plan at some point needs to be get Trick Room going. Whereas if you have Cresselia, you could just not have Trick Room at all, and you'd be totally fine. So it's definitely good. Definitely up here somewhere. A little bit unproven, but I'm pretty confident it's going to see some success in this format. Excadrill is bad unless T-Tar decides to, unless Sand becomes good, Excadrill is just not the play. Sorry. Whimsicott, very solid option. One of the best speed control options in the game right now. And we've seen it time and time again. Just when we think, the metagame is ready for Whimsicott, Whimsicott still finds a way. Prankster Tailwind is still phenomenal. Encore is disgustingly broken, as it always has been. And that's just 2 moves you need right there. Fairy type damage is very, very good as well, especially if you don't want to be using Flutter Mane, which we're going to get into that later. But if you're not using Flutter Mane, I think you might be throwing. Anyways, Whimsicott, very, very good. One of the best speed control options in the game right now. Gothitelle, I think, is going to need to be on the right team. It may fall a category as well. Its ability is broken. If you can find a way to utilize Shadow Tag, it will be a good Pokemon. Now, I don't see a team for that right now. However, if you can find a way to trap pieces in front of the pieces that you want to be doing damage, like if I can trap an Incineroar in front of an Urshifu, I'm probably in a pretty good spot, right? The problem is, in order to do that, because when you play against Gothitelle, you're aware of those positionings, right? So you need the right team to be able to force their hands into those scenarios. Not saying it's bad, but I think it's going to need that right team to really shine in this format. Otherwise, it's probably not going anywhere. Amoonguss is very good. It's going in solid options. It might even go up a tier in the reevaluation. Because for these, if you don't know, at the end of this tier list, I'm going to reevaluate the top 3 tiers probably. And then we'll kind of go from there. But it's going up there for now. Very, very good Pokemon. Spore is broken. Its bulk is broken. Resisting Flutter Mane is huge. Pollen Puff to heal your partners. And surprisingly, Sludge Bomb from this thing actually does good damage. So overall, very, very good Pokemon. Volcarona is interesting. I'm going to leave it on the right team. I think it definitely would need the right team. My issue with Volcarona is, like, I'm a fire type, but I can no longer switch into fire Ogerpon. And because of that, I think that actually hurts a lot. Now, if I'm on the field first and Tariff Dragon, sure, I guess it kind of works. But that feels a little not so great. Cobalion, I'm going to put it in Outclassed. I think there might be better Iron Defense Body Press users. Most likely Registeel. But I guess Cobalion is here. I guess it's decent. Hatterene is good. Once again, it's probably going to have to be on the right team. But it is one of the key pieces on Trick Room a lot in this format. So I'm going to put it up here. Very good Pokemon, good Trick Room. Just big sweeper, big spread damage under Trick Room. You can't really go wrong. And you can't get taunted, which I think is a big one. Especially with all the Flutter Manes now, like the Booster Energy ones running Taunt. Being able to bounce that back and not care about it to get Trick Room up is very, very important. Grimmsnarl is very good. It's less good, but still good. I think on the right team right now, it could be very, very good. It's a little spooky because, Urshifu just kind of crits through the screens. But Thunderwave speed control off Prankster and screens to get through teams, when Urshifu's not on the board. Very, very decent. Also, once again, just that fairy type coverage that doesn't normally exist in this format outside of something like a Flutter Mane, which we'll get into later. Indeedee is great. I'm not a huge Indeedee fan, but I have to recommend it. It's a good Pokemon, guys. Getting Psychic Terrain up, potentially prioritizing a Trick Room mode, and enabling some sort of Psy Spam operation with Expanding Force is just very good. It's too hard to not put in a lower tier. I don't think it's a great Pokemon, but its ability and what it provides for a team with Follow Me is too good to not put any higher. It might even go up a tier. Dragapult has some sneaky support options. I don't think it's good. Definitely not the normal, like the Choice Bandit stuff that you would normally see. But I think it's got some sneaky support options with like fast Will-O-Wisp support as well in what is mostly a physical format. So I don't know what that spread would need to look like, but I could almost see it doing something. Anyways, you guys can look away if you guys hated Reg H, but unfortunately, I do think Sneasler might still be good. And I know I'm going to get hate for this, but I do think Sneasler might still be good, guys. It's faster than the Ogre Pawns. Dire Claw hits all of them for super effective. It is surprisingly still going to be decent. Now, it does fold a lot quicker in this format, so it's not like it's going to be too much of a nuisance sitting on the field for a long time. But for what it's worth and for a quick burst damage, I could see it being somewhat decent. You know, someone made a post the other day, and they said, why is Enamorous Cresselia Ursaluna Hisui not better? And you know what? I kind of agree. Why is that not better? I don't know. It's just a weird option. I know it's a very difficult mod to actually get with the correct speed tier that you want, because you kind of almost have to play through the entire Legends Arceus game to get it. So it's not like a great mod to really utilize. You can't just pick it up and play it, right? I do think there might be something there. It's pretty unproven. It doesn't really do a lot, but maybe it's good. I don't know. Garganical is bad in this format, probably. But then again, it's also Garganical. And with the defensive stats that it has with Salcure, I'm going to leave it and give it a little bit of hope. You know, I'm going to give it a little bit of hope, give it a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it can do something here. Glamora is very good. Rock coverage is surprisingly good right now, especially on the Glamora. Glamora does a very good job of breaking the instant Rillaboom cycle. It is phenomenal. Dondozo, once again, I think it's less good, but still good. This is mostly the solo Dozo, guys. I'm not talking about the Dondozo Tatsugiri core. I do think that has fallen off. Once again, that would be on the right team if I was looking at that core specifically. But Dondozo alone, I think there's enough solo pressure with the Dondozo right now. And being unaware is very nice to get around some of these setup options in the format. You get to do like the Dondozo Ting Lu stuff, where you know you go Yond and Sand Tomb and you trap them in, they take chip damage, they're asleep. You can play that way. I think there's definitely spots for Dondozo to be good right now. Annihilate, I feel like it's a little outclassed, but I'm just going to leave it on unproven just because like I feel like there might be a chance at some point for this thing to come back. Like if Intimidate becomes huge, I can see it becoming around again. The problem is right now, once again, if I'm going to use a fighting type, I just have Urshifu, and I don't care about Intimidate because I'm just critting every single time anyways, right? So it's like there's just a feel like there's a little bit better than Annihilate right now, but maybe there's a niche for it somewhere. I don't know where that would be, but it's not right now. I can't see it right now. King Gambit, I think it's still a solid option. It's definitely less good just because once again the Urshifu does kind of force you to Terra, but outside of that, I don't think it's a awful thing to see. Right now, once again, it's still just going to be good, right? There's enough Intimidate going around. You can potentially get Swords Dance up fairly easily with all the Follow Me options in this format. Follow Me and Fake Out, there's so many options for that you're definitely probably going to be able to correctly get Follow Me Swords Dance off at some point, or Fake Out Swords Dance at some point relatively safely. And as we've all seen before, +2 King Gambit is terrifying, right? You also have, you know, the Gouging Fire teams as well, which click Howl beside your King Gambit to get it set up. So definitely needs to be brought up. Brute Bonnet. Normally I would say this thing is trash, but it kind of won Worlds, so I'm gonna leave it in unproven, maybe on the right team. Once again, Sun is going to be good in this format. Sun spam is going to be good in this format. So being able to abuse that, or maybe just capitalize on your opponent using Sun and taking a boost that way, there's a chance here. So Brute Bonnet has a chance. I don't know where it goes, but I think it's unproven in this format, and it could see it somewhere. Fluttermane, best mod in the game, hands down. Incredibly versatile. Does so much damage so fast, and it just enables so many other things as well. Like you can have a booster energy spread where you're icy winding for the rest of the format. There's just so many things that it does well that it's nearly impossible to try to build a team without it. Like if you're building a team and you somehow don't use Fluttermane, that's a brave choice. It's one of the best Pokemon in the format for a reason. I'm not saying you need to use it, but you better have a good reason to not use it when you're putting a team together. I think it's a very, very valid piece right now. Hands, I think it's a solid option. Definitely near the bottom of that tier. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as it used to be. I know it did just win that big online tournament, and it does a decent job at dealing with, the setup Raging Bolts, because, you tend to pair it with an Assault Vest, and then you start clicking Drain Punch and stuff like that into those Raging Bolts, and it's tough for the Raging Bolts to get through you. But I don't know if it really cycles that down the way you want it to, because you're going to get intimidated, and then Rillaboom does big damage. It's there. It's a decent fake out option. It's definitely not a bad piece by any means. It's going to be pretty good. No harm in using it. Jugulus, I think, on the right team has a chance. It's not a good piece by any means in this format. Like, if you're going to use a booster energy, there's better mons to use booster energy on. I don't think it's terrible. I just think there's better mons to use booster energy on. But, once again, fast tailwind, snarl support, flying coverage is actually technically never really going to be bad. It's just been not right now, right? I think it's gonna have to be on a specific team that really capitalizes on something like that. Same with Iron Moth. I don't think it's good, but I think on the right team, it technically does 4 times resist the Flutter Mane, which is phenomenal. And once again, I don't know. I'm not as sold. I'm not as sold on it, guys. It's okay. I'm just not sold. Same with Baxcalibur. This will go near the top though. On the right team, I think like it has a potential to do something, but I wouldn't be saying, yeah, Baxcalibur is great, right? Wo-Chen's probably in the same boat. It's not great. It does do that attack hindrance, which is pretty cool and maybe does something, but overall, it's not really advancing your board state to any sort of degree where I justify bringing it up. But on the right team, I think it has potential. Shenpao is probably good. I'm going to put it in meta staple right now, although I'm a little less inclined to do that, and I'll get into that when I get to the reorder in a bit. But Ting-Lu, once again, I'm going to go with less good, but still good. Once again, very good, still good. Not as good as these guys, but worth considering on teams, especially with that special attack hindrance on the ability there is very, very good. And then just having a ground type in this format is actually very good. So this is definitely a way to get through Raging Bolts nicely, so I definitely can't deny that. Chi-Yu is very good, definitely a meta staple. It's a little shaky right now because it is so frail and the format's a little volatile at the moment. But I don't know, we'll talk about that a little more when I start ordering things. Chandelure is bad, I don't know why I didn't clear it. Clefairy on the right team, I don't think it's great. Once again, there's better Follow Me users, but if Raging Bolts continue to go Thunderclap, Calm Mind, Dragon Pulse, Clefairy is a very funny way to deal with that. And I think it just helps set up the team. So it's like, I think on the right team it's good. Definitely wouldn't be considering it outside of something that's like, yeah, this team feels good. The Ninetales it's got to be on that one snow team for the Ninetales Alola to be good, guys. Same with the Ninetales Sun. Once again, Sun is going to be good, therefore Ninetales might be good. But the Blizzard stuff really needs to be on that Articuno, Ninetales, Blizzard spam stuff to really execute. So that's why it's going in on the right team. I don't think it's great right now, but it does enable that team to go. So it's kind of got to be here. Arcanine's outclassed by the other Arcanine. I really don't know too much. I think you get a little bit extra speed tiers, but I don't think that speed tiering is relevant for the Arcanine. So it's probably just not worth it to have. You can get rid of it. Weezing, I'm going to use, I couldn't find a Weezing Galar sprite, so we're going to go with regular Weezing and Weezing Galar here. Once again, it's going to have to be on that right team. I don't think it's very good right now, but once again, maybe there's something where, you get like Weezing Regigigas and then you throw like Shenpao D-Knight in the back and you just make people annoyed. So maybe there's a team for it. I don't know. It's not great. It doesn't feel great. Articuno Galar, definitely the worst of them. Not great right now. Definitely pretty unproven. Not good at all right now. Honestly, I haven't really seen much success from it. It's got a really good ability. Once again, it's that psychic typing that some reason it just never feels good or hasn't really felt good in all of Scarlet and Violet. The psychic types just don't feel all that great right now. So I'm going to knock it down. Like, barring the stuff that like is very broken, obviously, like Indeedee is a really good psychic type, But outside of that, there's not too many. Same with Cresselia, but Cresselia is here because it's going to be a fairy type next time you Terra it, right? So maybe you can do something with Articuno, but I don't know, that poison type, the psychic typing isn't doing it any favors. Zapdos Galar is surprisingly good. And it had a decent showcase in the big online tournament this past weekend. And something I want to point out is it does a very good job of breaking the cycle game, right? Instant doesn't want to see it. Urshifu doesn't want to see it. Rillaboom doesn't want to see it, right? That's already, right there, you're breaking 3/4 or sometimes even half of, like, opponents' teams just by having this one Pokemon because they don't want to see it. They can't intimidate it because of the Defiant ability, right? You pair this something with, like, maybe like a Scarf or a Covert Cloak, and all of a sudden you can actually become a problem for a lot of the teams, right? The Ogerpons don't want to see it. Amoonguss doesn't want to see it, right? There's a lot of things you can do with Zapdos Galar, and I'm surprised that it hasn't really been used up until now. Anyways, Moltres Galar, it's interesting. I've seen it on a few teams recently. I don't know if it's any good. It's there. It's a Pokemon. I'll leave it up there as decent for now. Like, it's kind of good. It's seen historical success. Suicune needs to be fixed. The problem with Suicune is it just doesn't do anything. And I know that sounds really dumb, right? Because, like, oh wow, it's so defensive, it doesn't die. Yeah, that's exactly it. It just doesn't die. That's, like, Suicune's best trait. And I love Suicune. You know, the passive Tailwind, not dying, clicking Snarl, clicking Icy Wind, right? That playstyle, or at least on this Suicune, or at least in this metagame, doesn't work right now nearly as well. And there's just better pieces to do that with that can go on offense. And Suicune doesn't have that option. Sableye, buddy, I love you, but not enough. Not good enough. Anyways, put a Sableye tier on here. Salamence, probably similar to that. Just outclassed right now, guys. There's better ways to do what you want to do with Salamence. There's maybe a niche, you know, with, like, special damage if you want, but outside of that, there's not much. Registeel, I think on the right team, Iron Defense, Body Press, Registeel actually makes a lot of sense. So I think we have to talk about it. We're going to leave it there. It definitely could be used. Garchomp's bad. Lucario bad. Gallade, I think on that right Trick Room team, you have to mention it. Terrakion, I'm going to go unproven for Terrakion. Tornadus, best Pokemon to format. And it's not the best, but probably the best Tailwind setter. Gives you the most control. You can set both weathers with it. You get Tailwind. You get Bleak Wind Storm, which is a very good move when it connects. And if you put it on, like, you know, Tornurge, it's just one of the best cores in the game, right? So it's up there. You're going to be seeing it. And Thunderous Eye is one of those ones similar to, you know, the Zapdos that I had mentioned earlier. The typing, there's just better electric types, and, like, it gets walled by too much, right? Like, there's just not enough that it does that it brings to the table to justify using it over anything else. Lander Therian, surprisingly good, but I think it needs to be a really aggressive variant. Right? Just getting through Raging Bolt and finding ways to break through a Raging Bolt meta is very good. And I think Banded Landers, it saw some usage in the last time Regef was around. So I could definitely see it coming back and creeping back into things on, like, a very aggressive style team. Landers Incarnate, very, very solid Pokemon in this format. Cannot argue that whatsoever. Talonflame, bad. I don't know why it's there. Incin, up there for sure. We'll get into that in a bit. But by far one of the best Pokemon to format. Primarina outclassed. Serena, I mean, I'll leave unproven. Anytime you can block priority, I think there's a chance. Similar to Bruxish. The abilities are just so good on these Pokemon that I guess you can technically justify it. I don't know if it's worth it, but you can technically justify it. Oranguru on the correct team is decent. Komodo, probably bad, but I'll leave it in unproven for now. Rillaboom is good. We'll get into that. Guys, I'm going to sort that top tier near the end. And I'll probably leave a timestamp in the video because I'm going to talk about those top 3 tiers a little bit more near the end of this video. Urshi's, both of them are good. Dark Ursh is not quite as good, but it's still a good Pokemon. Regieleki, maybe on the right team, but it's probably unproven. Regidrago is relatively good, but it needs to be on that one Psy Spam team, I think. But, like, Dragon Energy is broken if you can get into positions to spam it, so it's decent. Ursaluna is very good. It's probably going to be up here somewhere. Both of them, I think, are worth it. This one might be less good just because you need to go Trick Room for this one a little bit more consistently. But, like, if you compare something with, like, Ursaluna Cresselia, I think that is very, very good. It's going to be decent. It's never going to necessarily be bad. But overall, it's a decent mon. Basculegion, unfortunately, is now outclassed. Armarouge just doesn't feel right to me right now. Farigiraf is a very good Pokemon. And it's really carried by its ability. But once again, as I said with the Bruxish into Serena, that is the ability. Like, if an ability is going to carry you, this is one of those abilities that will absolutely carry you. It's got some good stats as well. It's going to be around. It's going to be a good Pokemon. Anytime you can abuse booster energy, so you're going to see some of these guys creep up here, guys. I think it's a little unproven right now, but with the Screamtail, but, you know, it can abuse booster. Encore Disable is very annoying to go up against, and it's very bulky as well, so, you know, it becomes a little bit annoying. Iron Bundle, I think, on the right team has a lot of potential to see success. Same with Goldango. I haven't been sold on Goldango in this format. Every time I see Goldango, I'm like, you know, I'm not really scared of it. And once again, it might be something to do with, like, the top mons all kind of beat it. But it does a very good job of beating everything that's not the top mon. And it technically hits the Fluttermanes if they're running, like, the Moonblast Icy Wind Taunt variant that doesn't actually have Shadow Ball. Because Goldango can kind of just, you know, click Make It Rain and goodbye Fluttermane. So it's decent for that exact reason, but nothing too crazy. Same with Roaring Moon. I think there's a lot of people out there that think Roaring Moon is, like, phenomenal right now. I don't necessarily disagree. But I can't say I necessarily agree. I think it's very, very good, but I definitely don't think it's like, why am I not using this mod if I'm not using it? Like, there's just better options, I think. But it's a very good mod. Like, there's so many good dark types. It's tough to justify, but it is a good mod. Iron Valiant's, like, okay. Probably under 18, probably, though. Sorry, guys. My screen's not large enough for this. Walking Wake on Sun's gonna have to be Sun. Iron Leaves is just bad, guys. Don't do it. Diplin is probably unproven, but it's also probably just bad. So it's going to go down there. Sinistra, I think, on the right team has a lot of potential. It's going to go at the top of that tier list because, or the top of this category because it deserves to be somewhere. It definitely needs to be mentioned, but I don't think it's great. Okidogi, same thing. On the right team, these guys are broken. If you can get them onto the right spots, into the right board positioning, I think they're very good. Archaludon, I don't want to put it here. I really want to knock it down a tier, but I'm going to leave it there because it does kind of do stuff in this format, especially because, you know, you're going to put rain up, right? For a lot. There's going to be a lot of rain teams, and getting, you know, the Electric Shot. We saw it all of Regate. It's good. It's just a good Pokemon. As much as I hate to say it, Archaludon is a good Pokemon. Raging Bolt is your best mod in the format. No doubt there. Iron Crown. This mod is a fraud, okay? This mod is strictly only good based off of broken typing because it gets a steel typing. Like, steel typing on a Psy-Spam team is dumb because, like, it just breaks through the stuff that would normally break Psy-Spam with, like, a Shenpao because you get Tachyon Cutter. So it also breaks the Fluttermanes with Tachyon Cutter. It's kind of carried by what it is, but I guess that kind of makes it a good mon. I don't know. Every time I use it, it ends up sucking. But, like, hey, you know what? Here we are. Ogerpon Teal. It's like, okay. It's good, but it's definitely not as good as the other three. Rock, once again, same with the Ogerpon Teal. It's not quite as good as the other two, but, like, it's probably a little bit better than this one, right? Like, Sturdy Follow Me, rock typing is very good, right? So, especially for this guy. Firepon. It's a metastaple, guys. It's definitely up there as a metastaple. Same with the Water Pond. They're up there. They're very, very solid. And Engouging Fire real quickly. It's less good, but it's still good. And then Boulder is just bad. Shout out to the Boulder believers. All right, now that that's rearranged, it's one of those ones where we're going to start going through, like, the best of the best up top here. It's pretty universally accepted that I believe it is just Fluttermane Raging Bolt. Like, if I'm going to be honest, guys, it should just be Fluttermane Raging Bolt at the top here. No doubt in my mind. Those are the best two mons in the format. You're probably looking at something like Firepon to follow suit. And then you're looking at Incin, you're looking at Rilla. This top tier, guys, if you are running anything in these top tiers, you can't really go wrong. They are solid, right? TU's probably near the bottom of this tier. Same with Torn, because Torn needs something else to go with Torn, right? Torn isn't like, yeah, you can throw, you know what? In fact, Torn, you got demoted. Torn got demoted. It's just because it needs something else to go with it. Earthy Water, very, very good. Once again, Torn can make all these guys go, which is great, but Torn on its own doesn't do that, and that to me is the definition of a meta staple, right? It needs to be something that is going to break the format if not dealt with, and I don't think Torn does that, but Torn definitely helps all of these guys do that. TU can probably get knocked down a stage as well, but I'm going to leave it up there because, you know, he can be shiny now, and when the fish is blue, it's cool. I don't know. Anyways, Darker's very good. Torn, very good. Farigiraf, very good. Lando's very good. It's one of those, like, kind of passive Pokemon that doesn't feel passive because, like, oh, it's, like, cool. It's there. And it does a lot of damage that doesn't, like, okay. let me backtrack because I'm going to get hate for calling it passive. And when I say passive, I mean like you don't need a lot of setup to get it going. It's just kind of there and does damage, right? Like the Raging Bolt, most often than not in this format, you're going to see that Calm Mind variant. And in order to really do damage, it wants to get that +1 going, right? Whereas the Landorus, passive was the wrong word, but this is kind of what I'm getting at. It wants to be, it's going to be there, but it doesn't need a lot to get going. And because of that, being able to do really big damage really quickly, it's very good. Same with the Ursaluna, just, Big Tear, normal, Hyper Voice, Blood Moon. We've seen it for a long time. Amoonguss probably goes up here a little bit. Other than that, it's very good. Same with Whimsicott. I'm going to put it right beside Torn. Both are very, very good. Torn a little bit higher because Torn gets Rain Dance and can boost the Water Earth. Whimsicott can't do that. Whimsicott kind of has to get stuck with the Sun teams, which is not a bad thing, but Torn can do both. Therefore, Torn a little bit more versatile and probably better. Just extra ways to do damage here. Both are very good. I talked about them earlier. Glim probably drops to something like this. I'm going to raise Rock Pond. I think Rock Pond deserves to be up a tier. Probably Roaring Moon as well, now that I'm looking at it. But overall, you're looking at stuff like this. I think this is like a fine tier list. Nothing too crazy. I don't really want to order this, guys, because these are going to go back and forth based on what's good in the meta. Like, excuse me, if Cycle continues to be great in the meta, well, I'm going to get around that with my Inner Focus Entei, and it's going to be probably up here. But if Cycle starts going down and then I'm going to go back down with the Entei, right? So I'm not going to bother tiering these guys, but these guys up here, these are probably in a pretty similar order to what I think is accurate and correct. Everything else, guys, once again, if you guys are down here, this isn't to say that you can't do well with these Pokemon. It's just one of those ones that, hey, you know what? You've probably burned the kitchen. There's probably something you can be doing to do a little bit better. But I'm not going to stop anybody from saying, I want to build the best Swampert team because, like, hey, Swampert's cool. I like Swampert. It's just not going to be winning a regional, in my opinion, Maybe it will. But if it does, then you know what? You can come back to this video and yell at me in the comments. But until that day, I think I'm pretty safe from getting yelled at for calling Swampert not so good right now. With that, though, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys do enjoy this type of content, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel, and of course, I really do appreciate it. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in a future video.